Hi everyone, it's Becca, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about ways that I prevent myself from getting sick, especially during the winter holiday season, because during this time of year we're all indoors and there's a lot of airborne illnesses that can make us ill. So the very first suggestion that I have is to wear a mask. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking, Becca, the pandemic is over. When you say that, you're saying that COVID's over and I don't have to wear a mask anymore, I'll be fine. No, COVID is very much still around, is very much still infecting people and disabling people, and I didn't think I would be that person to get long COVID, and yet here I am with long COVID. If you're one of those people who can't afford to get your own mask, you can go to maskbox.org. and you can find your nearest mask block and get them for free, including not only can you get masks for free, you can get COVID tests for free, which is really important because they're like, I can't afford to get my own COVID test, so I get them for free, which why wouldn't you want that option? Also, please note, there is research that supports mask wearing as long as you're wearing a good mask. If you're wearing a cloth mask with no filtration, obviously it's not going to work that well or at all. If you're wearing a surgical mask, the reason that, like, yes, it's better than nothing, but when you wear it, you notice there's no seal around your face. And like, I usually wear KN95 ear loops, and even those, like, I need to get some that fit better for my face, but those work better because there's a seal around your face. There are other different kinds of masks out there that you can use. Like, I know there's the duckbill ones, there's ones with head straps. I've tried head straps, I struggle with them, but there are ways to wear them so that it doesn't like make your hair look flat. There are ways to do that. There are tutorials online. I use TikTok personally. The second thing I do to try to prevent illness is diet. My diet isn't perfect. I'm chronically ill. I cannot always cook for myself. I have to eat kind of what I have available to me, but there are many different things, like easy things you can do to prevent illnesses, like soups, because soups are packed with good things like garlic and like vegetables and stuff. I don't know what I'm saying, but like, food really is an important part of this, because if you're consuming things that are good at combating illnesses and different symptoms that come with whatever illness you don't want to get, it can help with that. Like turmeric helps with inflammation, for example. I have things written down, that's why I'm looking down. But like, for me, I'm really big on teas, like immunity teas, or like I just recently made my own tea, like brewed it for 2 hours on the stove on my own, like a cranberry tea, which obviously berries are high in antioxidants and like vitamin C, which is really, really good for you. Since I'm vegan, I kind of like, I'm not going to be giving any animal-based options. Even if you're not vegan, just incorporating more plants into your diet will help a ton. And like, just eating like foods that are higher in vegetables, in garlic, in turmeric, and those sort of things. But if you have a sensitive stomach like me, and like garlic and onions and tomatoes might like cause an acid reflux flare up, I tend to like, I have to be careful with those. I still incorporate like garlic, onion, and tomato-based things into my diets, but when I eat too much, I always have an acid reflux flare up. So if you're like me and you have a sensitive stomach, just listen to your body. You know your body best. You know what you're able to eat and what you can't eat, and in what quantity you can have those things in. Like, you know your body best. So listening to your body is honestly one of the most important things with preventing illness, because your body knows what it needs. I just like wrote down a bunch of things. Like, something else that I really like is elderberry. My sister put me on it. I mean, I knew elderberry always existed, but she put me on to that. And I've given it to my Nana, I've given it to my mom, I've given it to myself to like help with illness, and I do think that it helps. And anything that we can do to boost our immune system, especially for people who have weaker immune systems, like old people, for example, it's really important. Obviously, drink Drink water. Drink water. I don't know how you need to drink your water, but drink it. We need water. We need our water just to survive in general. But I know for me, if I get sick and I'm really mucusy, the water helps, like, because if you have all that mucus in your throat, water helps me wash that down. But like, you know, like you could also use nose sprays, which is also important during the cold, because I get like right now mildly congested, but it's because it's cold and my room is cold. I don't have central heating in my room. I'm one of the only rooms in the house that doesn't have central heating. I have a space heater and a heated blanket, so I get a little sniffly, even if I'm not actually sick. The next one is stay away from people that are sick if you're able to. If you are a caretaker, obviously that's going to be difficult, but maybe even just wearing a mask around them, or in this point I'm going to bring up more, get an air purifier if you're able to, because that will help a ton if you have to take care of someone who is sick. But if you don't need to do that, stay away from people that are sick. If you know that a friend is sick, either tell them not to be around the hangout, or just be like, okay, I'm let's reschedule. Like, I have this boundary with my friends where, like, if they're sick, we need to reschedule. If I'm sick, I reschedule. Like, if I know that I'm sick with something that will get other people sick, it's just common courtesy. I feel like it's just, to me, that's a boundary that everyone should have, because who wants to get sick? Nobody. Most people don't want to get sick. The next one is hygiene, but specifically hand washing. This hand washing does not work with airborne illnesses, but with illnesses where, like, if you touch something and then you touch your face and the germs spread, that's important. Wash your hands. Will not work for, like, COVID, for example, because that's an airborne illness, but it will work for other illnesses or other germs. So it's still important. Wash your hands. Next is an air purifier, which I mentioned. I have one. I had it off for a while, but then I was like, it's dusty in here. And it's that time of year where I really just want my space to feel as safe as it can be. Like, and plus I have a cat, and because animals can get certain human illnesses too, like COVID. If you don't believe me, look it up. I want my space to be germ-free and dust-free personally. And air purifiers are really good at purifying the air. They can rid the air of, like I said, dust, germs, and other airborne things that you don't want in the air that you're breathing. And it helps with, if you are in a house and someone is sick and you have air purifiers, there's a good chance you may not also get sick, because it's being purified out of the air. Next is, if you notice that you're starting to get symptoms from being sick, don't overexert yourself if you're able to. Do not overexert yourself if you're able to. When I got COVID, I went back to work after like 14 days. And I didn't know that sometimes when you overexert yourself immediately after your COVID infection, it can increase your chances of getting long COVID, which I got because my job was very physical. So I got long COVID. I'm not saying that everyone who overexerts themselves is going to make their bodies worse from whatever illness they have, but it's just, when you're able to rest. Like, resting and trying to not overexert yourself when you are starting to get sick will help your body heal better. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I've seen a lot of people saying, like, rest is resistance, and that is very much true. In a world where there's overconsumption and, like, you need to do all these things, rest is probably one of the most radical things you can do for yourself, for your well-being, and for your body. Next, in this one, some people may disagree, but I personally believe in doctors. Not that I've had all great experiences with doctors, but if you are starting to get sick and you're prone to sinus infections, like if you have a deviated septum, you're probably prone to sinus infections. I have a deviated septum on my left side, so sinus infections. I used to get them a lot. I don't get sick as much anymore, though. Like, if you need to go see a doctor, don't wait. Like, if you're already starting to, like, feel sick and you know you're gonna get worse, or you just go see a doctor, please. There are medications that can help with illnesses, like even for COVID, like, I mean, Paxlovid I've heard has done miracles for people and preventing their COVID infections from getting worse. I have not been able to have it when I was sick with COVID. I had an inhaler because I had shortness of breath. But like things like that, like talk to your doctor, because you don't need to suffer. You don't need to suffer. And if you need to see a doctor, go see one. I know some people are against doctors, or they have bad experiences with doctors because of a myriad of things, you know, because there's systemic issues. I understand. If you are able to see a doctor, go see one. But if you are not, taking care of your body the best as you can by wearing a mask, looking at your diet, like drinking immunity teas or just different like herbs that are good for colds, like mullein. My cousin got me like mullein in bulk. So when I notice that people in the house are getting sick, so sometimes I'll whip them up like a loose leaf tea that includes mullein in it. And I think it does help. It's just understanding what works for your body and what doesn't. If you have allergies or something, obviously this is like an obvious thing, but don't eat something that is going to be detrimental to your health or affect your health. This is coming from someone who also eats things that trigger pain flare-ups in my stomach, but like it's just kind of understanding. It really comes down to the research too. I like to be mindful, or at least somewhat, of like transmission rates for certain illnesses, especially COVID-19, because that virus is airborne and it can infect the entire body. And like it really, like, part of this is like you still may get sick doing all these things, but it's still good for your body. It will help your body heal. Now, I am not a doctor. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. I'm a chronically ill person who hates getting sick. Because getting sick, that the one time that I got COVID, ruined my life. And I don't want anyone else's lives to like be completely altered by one illness. Because I've seen people who get chronic fatigue syndrome from a cold. I learned about that because of people sharing their experiences online. And the chronically ill community has really taught me a lot about illness and how it affects the body. And that's why my first line of defense is a mask. 100%. I'm telling you, if you have stopped wearing a mask, now's the time to pick it up again, especially during the holiday season when we're all indoors. Like if you're going to the mall or a holiday market or something, just wear a mask. And there's different colors. You can get one that suits your needs. I prefer the black ones, but like I said, you can get them for free. You don't even have to pay for them. There's resources out there that are ready to help you, because not only is like preventing illness in yourself important for you, it's important for your community, because these illnesses can disable or kill our communities, and I think that that's not okay. And I personally believe in preventing those things from happening. So I'm done rambling because I have chronic sore throat. I've been talking for 15 minutes. Can't do that anymore. I'm probably gonna trigger a flare up, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're interested in watching more content from me. I literally make a myriad of videos, like so many different things, from chronic illness stuff to fandom stuff to lifestyle stuff to just anything my brain wants to concoct. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you stay warm and stay cozy this holiday season.